Life Regeneration is just one of those things that's kind of a black box in Terraria. Most of the items that boost it or change it in some way are very vague about it, simply specifying increased or boosted Life Regeneration. So then, how does Life Regeneration actually work? Well, it's complicated, and really complicated sometimes. The source code and wiki both have gloriously in-depth explanations, but since they are also pretty complicated, I'll present a simplified medium version in this video. It should still be more than enough to understand. Okay? Well, let's get started. In total, Life Regeneration is basically split into three components: Natural Life Regeneration, Buff Life Regeneration, and Multipliers. Natural Life Regeneration is what you think of when you think Life Regeneration. It's that slow trickle of HP into your health bar. Natural Regeneration is affected by two factors: your current max HP and the time since you've been last hit. The first factor, your max HP, is pretty simple. The more max HP you have, the faster you regenerate. These two scale linearly, but not one-to-one. The second factor, time, is less simple. In a nutshell, the longer it has since you've been last hit, the faster you'll regenerate. I'm sure many of you are familiar with this mechanic. The time multiplier follows this line, capping off at 60 seconds past, meaning it will take a full minute of no hit to reach your peak natural regeneration. Even under ideal conditions, there is always a period of time where you do not regenerate naturally at all. This is because the time multiplier doesn't actually increase from 0 to 1 until 5 seconds have passed since your last hit, so your natural regeneration doesn't even begin until after 5 seconds. Also, if your regen is poor enough, your total health regeneration rate may fall below 0.5, which rounds down to 0. So even after 5 seconds, you still might not have any life regeneration, forcing you to wait even longer. Moral of the story is, if you want life regeneration, don't get hit. Natural life regeneration can also be affected by buffs. The Vital Crystal affects it most prominently. Despite what the tooltip says, the Vital Crystal doesn't actually boost life regeneration, but instead boosts the time multiplier I just talked about. By allowing the life regeneration timer to progress 20% faster, it actually increases your life regeneration substantially. Other items like the Crimson Armor and Life Drain also increase this time ramping alongside the regular regeneration buffs. Then there are the buff life regeneration items. These are much more simple to understand than that hogwash I put back there. You put on a Band of Regeneration. It gives you 1 HP per second. You get 1 HP per second. Yeah. Buff Life Regeneration simply gives you the amount of HP per second on the tin. Items that grant buff life regen can range from the diminutive 0.5 HP per second granted by the Werewolf buff, to the strong 4 HP per second of the Valhalla Knight Breastplate, all the way to the absolutely broken 9 HP per second granted by the Life Nebula, the most powerful life regeneration buff in the game. Life Nebula used to be even more powerful pre 1.4.4, where it granted an amazing 15 HP per second. Yeah. Buff Life Regeneration is especially useful because not only is it provided by a plethora of items in the game in every state of progression, it is also extremely consistent. Your Band of Regeneration doesn't care if you got 25 seconds of bleeding from a spike, it'll still grant you that 1 HP per second regardless. The only thing that can partially stop buff regeneration is a damaging debuff. Debuffs like Poisoned nuke all regeneration, so you can't heal at all, with a few exceptions. Heart Lanterns, Campfires, the Life Drain, and Rapid Healing will still grant you healing even if you're applied with a damaging debuff. In practice, this means these 4 items can always be relied on to give you constant regeneration, regardless of situation. Honey will also nullify part or all of a damaging debuff's damage, which is also helpful. So if you're trying to tank a boss which attacks you rapidly, which means that natural regeneration never has the time to tick up, then buff regen is pretty much your only regen. It's essential for pretty much every tanking setup in the game. Speaking of situations, lastly we have multipliers. There are 5 multipliers in this game: the aforementioned bleeding, moving, resting, feral bite, and expert mode / well-fed. All of these only affect natural regeneration, so buffs are exempt. Most of these are pretty obvious though. Bleeding, as mentioned before, negates regeneration ramp-up time, essentially negating natural regeneration. If you're standing still, you will regenerate 2.5 times faster than you were moving. If you're sitting on a chair or sleeping, you will also gain another 1.5 times boost in natural regeneration. Meanwhile, Feral Bite will also have your natural regeneration outright. Lastly, we have Expert Mode / Well-Fed, which halves your natural regeneration if you don't have Well-Fed, and if you're in Expert Mode. So if you want to regenerate, sit in a chair and don't move. That's basically it. Also, it's just generally a good idea to be well-fed, especially in harder worlds. As said previously, you do lose half your natural regeneration on Expert if you aren't well-fed, which is pretty important. And that's not even considering the other buffs food gives, so get well-fed. Just do it. And yeah, that's all 3 branches of life regeneration summarized. In short, natural regeneration is based on HP and ramps up over time, buff regeneration is provided by items and buffs and is very consistent and reliable, and multipliers are just what increase and reduce the efficacy of natural regeneration. I hope you learned something. If anything, I hope you at least know now to keep your expert characters on permanent well-fed, so that's something. Speaking of well-fed, if you want to know how to get permanent exquisitely stuffed on your character for just 1.25 silver per minute, this video is for you. If you enjoy my content, subscribe for more, and either way, thank you for watching, and good day and goodbye.